What's going on, golf addicts? Welcome to the John Deere Classic 2022 betting preview. We know you're all so excited. You're all jazzed up. You're all, little roll of quarters in your pants. You're so excited to bet the John Deere Classic because the field is
Pumped.
so beautiful. You know what I mean? This is just God's gifted golf field right here. This could be what we're all left with, Pat, if Liv just takes everything. We could be just left with this on the PGA Tour. You could have your headliner be Webb Simpson,
Can you imagine?
Christian Webb over there. You could have
Adam Hadwin.
Yeah, it'd just be one big small group meeting at the John Deere Classic every year, or at every tournament, really. This would be what it would be. Hey, listen, we're presented to you by our friends at Covers. Covers.com is where winning starts if you're a sports bettor, and winning has started at Covers for 25 years, people. 25 years. This is not some pop-up, fly-by-night operation, okay? They just, Supreme Court said in 2018 you can't outlaw gambling anymore. States go make some regulation. Let's do this. Let's get some tax revenue. And Covers decided to, create a business. That's not what happened. This thing's 25 years old. A lot of you people aren't even 25 years old, Maybe you are 25 years old. You can't even remember 25 years back. That's how long Covers has been doing it. They've been helping 20 million bettors annually for years. So check it out. It's also the home of our exclusive Tuesday afternoon head-to-head and top 20, maybe a prop bet thrown in there article as well. It's a free 5-minute read max, okay? Drops every Tuesday afternoon. A lot of the content on Covers is free. So go check it out. They sponsor the podcast. They helped us out a lot in 2022. So we appreciate Covers. Check them out. Now, Pat, before we move too far forward here, I have to go ahead and, you weren't on the show. I feel like a lot of people were wondering where had Pat gone because
you
weren't on the RBC Canadian show, and then you weren't on this show last week. And I feel like I didn't dog you out last week.
No, usually you do. Actually, I listened. You actually, you did me good. I had a time traveling back from Scotland.
Time traveled?
No, it was. I wish I'd time traveled. It was awful. So I was not able to make the show on Monday night because I had gotten in to Savannah at 2 a.m. on Monday.
Yeah.
Not fun. But you know what? I did the research.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I did the fantasy golf sommelier.
It was a great one, by the way. Great fantasy golf sommelier. I'm not gonna. I know you don't want to toot your own horn, so I'll do it. The fantasy golf sommelier needs more views, people.
I don't understand.
Even if you are in a state where PrizePicks is not legal, which is the topic of discussion in the fantasy golf sommelier, I get it. But it's literally like anywhere from like 7 to 11 minutes of your life, and that's it. Just watch it because it's funny. Pat is funny on it. It was last week was hilarious. Your air conditioner went out, and instead of reviewing wine, you were sweaty and you reviewed water, which was hilarious. So
I drank water.
Watch it. I don't understand why enough people don't watch it.
I needed water too, but I mean,
you need water to, put out the fire from hitting another winner.
Xander. So I was all in on the video on Xander Schauffele. So you can even watch the video, and if you're not even playing PrizePicks, you can kind of glean some, here's some guys that you might want to go with. I was all in. I even said I'm guzzling a water hose of Xander Schauffele for this tournament. And he wins. And I put him on the
conviction. I don't know what it is. Yeah, 18-1.
I put him on the betting card, and he wins.
That's the 12th outright winner of the season for us. 8th for you. You're carrying us for sure.
Yeah, it was. Now look, I get it. 18-1. Okay, you have the big balls betting card. He's not going to be on your betting card because you don't take guys that short.
Yeah,
I do, and so I'm trying to make profit. That's profit to me. 18-1. I'll take it. So I'm pretty excited about Xander. Now I did feel pretty bad for Sahith. I wish that Sahith was on like the bottom end of my card, which is where the longer shots go. Yeah. I wish he was on there.
You wish he was a bottom doctor?
I wish he was a bottom one. And I would have loved him to win, but still happy for Xander to get
it was one of those weeks where, like, because we were texting while it was going down. It is one of those weeks. Like when you watch enough golf like we do and you consume podcasts and you hear the interview with Sahith, like Sahith did a great interview on No Laying Up show a couple months back. And if you didn't like him before, you definitely liked him after. And if you liked him before, you loved him after. He's just a great guy. And when you consume all that content and like you feel like you kind of get to know these players a little bit, like what kind of guy they are, he's an easy guy to root for. And
Yeah.
even just watching on TV seems like an easy guy to root for. Wears his emotions on his sleeve, did his thing at the Waste Management. Had some close calls this year, and it's a tough thing as a gambler, right? Because you're torn. You want to hit the bet, but you really, if the bet weren't there, you would 100% be pulling for Sahith.
Oh, yeah.
100% you'd be pulling for Sahith. Not even
Yeah.
close. And then you're like, oh, it's 18-1. Like who cares? It's 18-1. If it was 100 to 1 or a 50 to 1 or whatever, you'd be a little more enthusiastic about it. But it was tough with Sahith, and he made some tough calls, man. He made some really tough calls there on that 18th hole. It was tough to watch, man. Tough to watch, but he'll have his chance again. You know.
Oh, yeah, he's such a good player. He'll definitely have more chances. So, um,
But I'll say this, looking at the top of the betting board, he ain't gonna have his chance on my betting card this week because I'm not sniffing it. Let's look at the top of the board here. Now these numbers are pulled off of DraftKings right now. Top of the board is Adam Hadwin at 10-1, Webb Simpson 12-1. I've seen Webb as a favorite on other sites. It's all over the place right now. Seabez is at 20-1. That's Christian Bezuidenhout, by the way. Denny McCarthy, Charles Howell at 22, and McNeely and Sahith at 25-1. We talked about this on the DraftKings show that we just recorded. By the way, if you're looking for the live DraftKings show, we're mixing it up a little bit here right now. We're experimenting. The DraftKings show we're now recording and not live, and distributing it on YouTube in by salary ranges. So instead of a 45-minute, hour-long DraftKings DFS video, you can watch it broken up by salary ranges. So if you only want to know about the 6K range or the 10K range, you can just watch that. So that's what's going on there. We talked about it at the top of the DFS DraftKings board. We're just not. This is hard because you don't have the clear separation of talent in the top part of this board as you do from the rest of the field, like you would in even just a normal PGA Tour field, even a field like last week, which was actually somewhat decent. The top echelon players are that much better than everybody else, and here, I realize there's nobody at like 9-1, like maybe Rory opened up at last week, but Adam Hadwin at 12-1 is extremely marginally better than Scott Stallings at 35-1 or 40-1. Like it's just there's not that big of a gap
no.
here. So it's really tough to bet this range. I will be taking none of it. If you look at the historical odds here in the last few years, Lucas Glover won at 50-1, Fratelli at 90-1, Michael Kim won at 300-1. We've had most of the winners here come from that mid-range and triple-digit numbers. And I think that's what we're likely to see here again. By the way, if you're looking for a course breakdown video, that has already dropped on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Talk about everything you need to know and nothing you don't for TPC Deer Run. So check that out. Pat, I'm not touching it. I don't want anybody shorter than 25.
I don't really have anybody in here either, and I agree. I don't think I want to take anybody shorter than 25-1. One guy that did pop up on the board, I think I'll take him at a little bit better number than what he popped up on the board at here in this area. So
Yeah.
I'll talk about him in a minute. But other than that, yeah, I'm with you. I don't think the shorter range gives you any value at all. I just don't see any of these guys necessarily win. I mean, I could see them winning, but I just don't get
Yeah.
any excitement. I'm not going Adam Hadwin at 10-1 or 12-1 or Webb in that same area. I would rather just try and, hammer that sort of 26-1 to 75-1 range
Yeah.
and place more bets and more of my money there than waste the money up here at the top. I just think it is, like I said, a waste of money.
Yep. All right. Well, let's get down in that range. Before we do, I do want to shout out our friends at Front Nine Coffee. It's the coffee for golfers. If you love coffee, if you love golf, and you love supporting local businesses, small businesses, Front9Coffee.com just started here in our own backyard in Augusta, Georgia. You can go to front9coffee.com. That's front, the number 9coffee.com, and use promo code TJ10 to get 10% off your entire order. And you can keep using that. Okay. And they got all kind of great small batch artisan coffee, freshly roasted when you order it and not before. So you're going to order it, then they're going to roast it, and then a couple days later, it arrives to your house, your doorstep, anywhere in the U.S. and Canada. They now have flat rate shipping if you put in an order of $25 or more. The shipping costs they've worked with you guys to go down on. This is what's great about working with a small business like this is we've got listener feedback. We give them the listener feedback, and they make adjustments. And so here we go. So please, if you drink coffee, give these guys a try. Support a small business. Support the Tour Junkies. And sip some really delicious coffee for golfers, the Captain's Choice Kahlua Caramel Roast,
Oh,
or the
yeah.
Breakfast Ball Breakfast Roast. The Lauderdale Roast is good.
I had the Lauderdale over the weekend. It was fantastic. Little light roast. Yeah, it's good.
Me and Pat have our own flavors coming out. We I see Chris in the chat. Thanks, Chris. He's asking when those are dropping. Those should be dropping in the next 2 weeks. We should have it no later than the Open Championship, I would suspect. So you'll be able to buy those flavors. I got my own flavor. Pat got his own flavor. Branded them differently. You're going to be able to buy a pack of both.
Love the brand names that we came up with, by the way. Y'all are gonna the TJ fans are gonna love the brand names. It's really good. It's good
I love
stuff.
the flavors, honestly. My flavor, I like it more, but
I think my flavor is better.
Your
But
flavor's good too. Your flavor's good too. I'll be honest. All right, so moving down the board, longer than 25 to 1. Let's cap it out at around 75 to 1, Pat.
Okay.
In this range, can you just say the guy's name the second guy, just so I don't just Adam Long, and then there's that guy right there on the screen, Pat. It's right there on the screen.
Let me see it.
It's
Oh
right
no,
there.
yeah, Brendan Todd. Yeah, that's for you.
Then there's Patrick Rogers, Lucas Glover, your defending champion. Nick Hardy, he's a popular name in the streets right now. JT Poston had him a good finish last week. That was great to see. Another past champion, Dylan Fratelli, in there at 65 to 1. Mark Hubbard's at 70 to 1. And these odds are taken from DraftKings. So anyway, let's kick it off here. A lot of interesting names here. Now, I will say this too. If you're not watching, and I've said this a couple weeks, if you're not watching the First Look show that I put out on YouTube every Monday morning at 10:30 in the morning,
great stuff. Yeah,
you're just missing out on a ton of value, because I can tell you right now, looking at the board, Adam Long, this is numbers I know for sure because I was paying attention. Scott Stallings was 50 to 1 when I did that show this morning. He's now 35 to 1. Patrick Rogers was 45 to 1. He's now 35. Nick Hardy was 50 or 45 to 1. Now he's 40. Cam Davis was 50 to 1. Now he's 45. JT Poston was 65 to 1. Now he's 55. A lot of these numbers are much shorter. I'm telling you guys, if you want to jump on some outrights, I'm not saying to blow your whole wad on a Monday morning, but I do think it's worth taking a look at that Monday morning show early, and at least firing on the ones you feel some strong conviction over, because the numbers are likely to get shorter. So I still like JT Poston. He's one in here at 55 to 1 on DraftKings. I'm still liking. He just plays well on courses that suit him, and we've seen that at the RBC. We saw it at the Wells Fargo, and we saw it last week at TPC River Highlands. He can be terrible one week and get to a golf course that suits him, and here he goes. And this is notorious to be a putting contest, despite guys like Lucas Glover winning this freaking golf tournament. But he had a hot week, right? This is notoriously a putting contest because a lot of these guys are going to hit greens and reg at a high clip. So if you got a putting contest, there's not too many better in this field than JT Poston. So I like JT at 55. I like Lanto's value a lot at 66. You can get him at 66 to 1 on BetMGM right now. Sneaky good putter, solid putter. I talked about this in the DFS show. I like that rolling report on Fantasy National, looking at strokes gained putting, so you can see a long-term and short-term view and trend. Lanto, very steadily a good putter. I like that for him. Good ball striker. Even though his recent form has been a little iffy. I think Nick Hardy's in play at 40 to 1. Kid's a really good putter. He's confident right now. He could use the FedEx Cup points. I like that. And then as short as I'd probably go is probably one of either CH3 or Adam Long. CH3's at 33 to 1 on FanDuel. Adam Long's at 35 to 1 on DraftKings. I probably would just pick one of them and go there. Pat, I know you. I think you kind of like both of those guys. I'm curious to know, out of those two, who would you rather have, and then who are some other guys in this range you like?
Well, you mentioned you mentioned a lot in this range that I like. But yeah, up at the top here, Charles Howell was the guy that I was talking about that, showed up on the board at the 25 to 1 and less range, but he's actually 33 to 1 on FanDuel. So I think if you can get CH3 at that number, I really like it. And I'd probably put him ahead of Adam Long, but I do like Adam Long a lot at 35 to 1. I bet on Adam Long for a while now, it seems like. And I just think he's playing well. He's a winner on tour before. But CH3 is definitely, I think, if you get that 33 to 1 number on FanDuel, or at least over 30 to 1, I think is a good play there. I'm with you on Nick Hardy. Same with JT Poston. Two other guys that I like around 65 to 1. Adam Svensson, he's at 65 to 1 on DK. I think that's a pretty good number for him. And here's another one. We didn't talk about him at all on the DK show, but Kevin Streelman is 65 to 1 also.
Ooh,
I
really?
like Streelman on this course. And if you like, so I had him in one of my lineups last week. Actually, the lineup that won the listener league. And he made a ton of birdies.
Humble brag.
A
Okay.
ton of birdies, but also had a lot of just bad holes, like just blow up holes that really screwed up his rounds. So, on a course like this, yeah, I just think that Streelman can play well here. So 65 to 1, I think is a good number. So I'll take that there. But yeah, that's about it for me in this range. I mean, there's a lot in this range actually, but I
Yeah.
don't want to freaking name everybody.
Yeah, it's tough. You're gonna have to narrow it down here. Let me ask you this. So I'm looking at, Nick Hardy. Do we think, like, what do we think? Do we think Nick Hardy is ready to win? I'm kind of like second guessing myself. Like the guy's playing really well. I talked about him last week by myself, and I know I talked about him on the Mayo live chat show. Um, we talked about him in the DFS show. He's obviously playing confidently right now. And we've heard from people who have, caddied in his group that he's a tremendous putter. And the Corn Ferry stats would play out. He's a really good putter and he's good all around. But if you look at it, he has no wins. He's never closed the door. He's got a runner up on the Corn Ferry Tour. He's got a third place finish on the Corn Ferry Tour. He's got plenty of top 10 finishes on the Corn Ferry Tour. His best finish on the PGA Tour was a T8 last week, I think. Um, do we think he can actually is he ready to like close the door? Because I think about a guy like Sahith, and you see him get in the hunt, and you see what it does to a guy. Like sometimes if you rush things, or it affects your decision making, or you get nervous and you jack up a putt or some sort of touch shot. Do we actually think Nick Hardy's ready to win? I'm curious if you're in the chat, if you're watching this after it's gone live, put it in the comment section. Do you think Nick Hardy is a guy that's ready to actually win, or should we maybe be betting this guy top 10 or top 20? What do you think, Pat?
Well, I don't think the top 10 or 20 bets are a bad idea, but I think he can win. And I think almost anybody that's, got some experience out on tour can win this week in a weak field like we have. We've seen first time winners here on this course. So I definitely think you could see a guy like Nick Hardy get his first win here. I don't think a guy like Adam Svensson, we could see that this week. There's a lot of guys that could get that first win. If there's going to be an event where that happens, it's probably this one. Based off of the field that we have, they don't have to compete with a Xander Schauffele or Daniel Berger, who's now withdrawn from this event. People like that. So that immediately increases their ability to actually get a tournament win. So yeah, I think he can for sure.
Okay. All right, that's kind of mid-range. The golf season's rolling along, right? And DraftKings Sportsbook, are the official betting partner of the PGA Tour, has a gimme for new customers. If you place any golf bet of at least $5 and get $100 in free bets no matter what. You can bet a golfer to win, you can bet single round matchups and more. As long as you throw down $5, you get $100 in free bets. And if sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still get in on the PGA Tour action. You can play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings DFS contests. Draft your lineup of 6 golfers and compete for over $1 million in prizes each week. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code Tour Junkies and place a golf bet of at least $5. That's all you got to do. And get $100 in free bets no matter the outcome. That promo code Tour Junkies at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official betting partner of the PGA Tour. 21 and older, restrictions apply, and see show notes for details. Shout out to DraftKings for sponsoring the old John Deere Classic podcast. Praise God, baby. All right. So in the next range, Pat, if we're looking at kind of this range up to 130 to 1. There aren't too many names in here for me. So I will let you start. You got guys like Hank Lebioda, Pat Kezire's down in here, Zach Johnson, who's played really well here before. I think he's past champion. Our buddy Austin Smotherman is in here. Ryan Moore, big time John Deere Classic guy, but also a butthole. So there's that. And then fellow Champions Retreat member with myself, Vaughn Taylor, Augusta Boy. Who do you like in here?
Well, I'll start with Hank Lebioda. He's at 80 to 1 was the best number I saw him. A guy that's, a great ball striker. I just wish he could really put 4 good rounds together. He just doesn't seem to be able to do that. He does putt well on bent grass greens. So I like that about him, but who knows? Like I said with Hardy, he could possibly get his first win this week. He has been playing pretty well recently. Has a top 10 here last year at this event. So I think Hank Lebioda there at 80 to 1 could be a decent play here. Who else here? I would say I gotta say Sam Ryder. I mean, DB. I always I'm a sucker for some Sam Ryder.
Are you sitting in front of a fire or something? Your face has all of a sudden got a lot brighter.
Did it?
There we go. Now it's not. What is that? What are you
happened?
doing? Are you lighting a match or something?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. Maybe I'm getting on Planet Tito's. I am.
Are you lighting a match?
Huh?
What is going on?
What are we doing?
Come on, baby, light my fire.
Some people have said Pat's the songbird of his generation. Pat, show him your T-shirt tonight.
Not tonight, ladies. I'm just here to get drunk.
Okay, maybe I'm that one.
Yeah, Sam Ryder though is at 120 to 1 on FanDuel. Oh. He's 80 to 1 on DK. So a lot of times I'll just like to look at a guy and say like, all right, I'm seeing 120 to 1 here and 80 to 1 here. So somebody is missing something, or I don't know, maybe not. But I think Sam Ryder here at 120
to 1. They
just
don't care because it's Sam Ryder and it's the John Deere.
Possibly. But 80 to 1 and 120 to 1 is a pretty big difference.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Again. It's probably the computer that's in front of me.
Oh, yeah. See, there you go.
Okay. All right, you go. Who do you like? I really am not a big fan of this area.
Yeah, there are names that were up on the board, but their numbers got shortened. But I'm not either. I have no one in here. I really don't. Like, I'm going to pound. My method of attack is going to be pound that, up to 75 to 1 range. And then after that, dude, it's effing bombs away. We're in Benghazi. I'm dropping, or we're in wherever we've dropped bombs a lot. Like, I'm going to start bombing the piss out of stuff, in this 150 to 1 and longer spot. So I'm kind of out. I'm out.
Okay.
All right.
Well, let's go on to the bombs.
I will echo the sentiment of our friend here, Chris. Everyone liked the vid. It's not their fault. It's a Corn Ferry Tour field. Thank you, Chris. Yes, everyone, please hit the like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you've not already. Share it. Share the video. That's what you can do too. Hit the share button, copy the link, and let's go. Share it with a buddy. Share it with a friend. Let y'all make money together. Share it with your dad. You guys probably, your dad wants to gamble a little something. Dad's probably sitting there. He's sitting on a nest egg of a lot of cash. He's wanting something to do with it. And instead of buying, lottery tickets, or maybe he's buying, maybe he's I don't know, maybe he's a Patreon member of something he's not supposed to. Tell him, Dad, take that money and spend it on something else. Here, have the welcome to the Tour Junkies, and bring Dad on in here. We just had Father's Day. That'd be a great thing. Bring your dad on in here. I want to see some people's dads in the chats next week. Bring your dad. Bring your dad to work day next week. You know what I mean? Pat's got a dad. Dad's cool. He loves listening to the Tour Junkies. He's a good
Yeah.
gambler too. He's a good gambler.
I do have a dad.
Okay, where are we? Oh yeah, bombs. Okay, I like some bombs, Pat. I mean, because this is the John Deere Hill. Yeah, Michael Kim won this thing at 300 to 1. And Michael Kim won it coming off the heels of 3 straight missed cuts. Lucas Glover wasn't looking real good when he came in here, rolled up in here and did all right. Neither did Dylan Fratelli. So I think we can definitely hit some of these boys in this triple digit range. I'm going to start with Lee Hodges at 150 to 1. Lee Hodges has flashed some high finishes. I like that he's actually been in the hunt a little bit. I think it was the Amex, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he finished third. It was the Amex. He was in the final group with one other player, and that was the week my boy Hudson Swafford won. We hit him at 250 to 1. But he was in the final group with one other player. Was it Barjon, or was it who was he in the final group with? I don't know. He was in the final group. He's felt the heat late on Sunday. I like that for Lee Hodges. Good all around player. Has some distance that he could kind of use here if he needed to. But I like it. It's going to hit a lot of greens and reg. I like Lee Hodges playing well too. I like Chase Seifert at 160 to 1 on FanDuel. Good ball striker. Seifert needs some FedEx Cup points. We talked about that a little more extensively on the DraftKings show, that like this is kind of that time of year. There's only 4 or 5 events left, 4 or 5 weeks left, where these guys can get these FedEx Cup points. And some of these boys really could use some FedEx Cup points. Chase Seifert's being one of them. Good ball striker. 160 to 1 on FanDuel. I like that. I talked about him last week, and he missed the cut, which I don't like. But when I looked at him again this week, I'm telling you, he fits this golf course very well from a what you have to do well standpoint. And if you look at his Corn Ferry Tour numbers, very accurate player, good short game, great putter. It just hasn't quite translated here lately on the PGA Tour. But Chad Ramey at 150 to 1 is another one I like. Other than
Chad
that,
Ramey, yes.
yeah. Other than that, I mean, I'm gonna let you go first, and then if you don't say the name, I'll bring it up. But
Okay.
I'll stop there.
All right. Well, I'll start with this. I like Chase Seifert. I'm with you there. At 160 to 1 on FanDuel. He's actually 100 to 1 on BetMGM. So there's a big little differential there between those two books. So I like that. I like Hayden Buckley at 150 to 1 on DK. I think he's another guy that has shown flashes of being up there in the hunt. Not on Sundays really, but again, I think he's definitely he's a great player, and I think that in a field like this, he could certainly win here. Has some pretty decent recent results as well. So I do like some Hayden Buckley here. Who else? By the way, top 15 for Hayden at the U.S. Open. That was the recent results. I guess I'm referring to. I like Kelly Craft at 160 to 1 on FanDuel. And he's a guy top 15 at the RBC Canadian just a couple of weeks ago. Had a 56 last week. I think, if I'm not wrong, he is very. No, he's not. Anyway, so I do like Kelly Craft. I think that's about it.
Why do you like Kelly Craft? I don't. That part I don't get.
I mean, what's wrong with Kelly Craft?
He sucks. That's what's wrong with Kelly Craft.
Why he didn't suck that bad?
He sucks terribly bad.
No, he doesn't. You can't suck and finish 13th at the Canadian Open.
Just keep saying that out loud to yourself the rest of the night. You know what you can't suck at either is you can't suck if you have this putter head cover, which is now in the shop. Look at that great picture Pat took. That's in the shop right now. by Case. Finally, blade putter head covers are available now with Golby and nuts all over them. You can get those right now. And right now, there's also a contest in the Nut Hut going on that you need to make sure you get in on because the winner is going to be chosen on Wednesday night to kick off the Wednesday night live chat. I get another reason to join the Nut Hut, people. We're doing giveaways now. We have a giveaway bot. You know, who knew, Pat, that 7 years ago, rewind to 7 years ago, and I tell you, Pat, the Tour Junkies are going to have this chat thing called the Discord, and you're going to be like, "Oh, you
Yeah.
mean like AOL Instant Messenger?" And I'll be like, "No, better with like animated characters and stuff." And we're going to have this chat, and there's going to be a bot in there that will give away stuff to people.
And it just does things for you.
It just does it while you're doing nothing. It's just a bot. It's like a robot.
I
Short
still
bot.
don't understand where the hell this bot lives,
Yeah.
how they work.
And yeah, and we can just say, "Hey, bot,
Yeah.
this is when it ends, and this is what we want to give away. And now you go give it away at random, and we get to wipe our hands of it." So if it picks, I've done what I have to do to enter the contest. It may pick me, and then
Oh, you already I was
somebody
wondering
will win.
if I could do that and just see
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I
you
can
should
have
enter
it.
so nobody can win. Then we don't have to
Yeah.
give up a free head cover because the bot's going to choose at random. It's going to be a beautiful thing, but the bot just works for you. But
I mean,
now
if you get in and you win the head, like you join the Nut Hut today,
you just paid for
you
6
win
months of
you
the Nut
paid
Hut.
for 6 months by winning the damn head cover or putter cover.
Yeah, yeah, it's a beautiful
What
thing.
are we doing here?
What
Get it, and you're winning money anyway. So why are more people not in the Nut Hut, David?
Well, yeah, I know, man. We got to get more people in there. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what their hesitance is. Their hesitancy. I don't know why they're hesitant. Pat,
Maybe they've been waiting on the giveaways. Maybe that's what,
we'll see.
yeah.
There is one name that has not been mentioned yet.
Can I guess?
Yeah,
Will you give me 3 guesses?
I will give you 3 guesses.
And this is somebody that's over 130 to 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to start with Vaughn Taylor.
Nope.
Damn. I thought that was going to be it. Is it longer odds than him?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to moving on. Bill Haas.
Nope.
Shit. Have you mentioned this guy today?
This is called dead air.
Okay, my last guess is I don't know what the hell. There's so many guys in this range. Like, how do you have a guy that you're this convicted about in this range?
I'm not that. I didn't say I was that convicted about. I'm saying it's a name that we should talk about.
Charlie Hoffman.
No.
Okay.
It's a name that came up on the DraftKings show because he's lately been a putting machine. And if this is a putting contest and this dude's got some magic horseshoe up his rear end, then 500 to 1 two-time PGA Tour winner, Jonas Blixt.
Jonas Blixt. Why did I not?
500 to 1. This fool just gained almost 9 strokes putting at the Travelers while losing 10. While losing 10 with his irons. He even gained strokes off the tee. So it's like, what how bad if you gain strokes off the tee, like more than likely he was in the fairway. How bad were his irons last week? I need to go back and like do some shot link research or something. I don't know how you do that. Or maybe it's a Fantasy National like bug or something. How does one gain strokes off the tee to 2.3 strokes and lose 10 on approach? Did he develop the shanks in the middle of the round? I don't know. But all I know is gaining strokes off the tee and putting the lights out of the place is a recipe for the John Deere. Now,
do you think if you took now I know he's putted better recently. If you took Willie Z and you merged his body with Jonas Blixt, how many majors would
Willie
Z?
how many majors does Will he Z win if he has Jonas Blixt putting body,
Yeah.
putting hands? Do we think it's Willie Z's hands that mess him up, or is it his shoulders, or
I
is it
don't know, but if
brain?
you just, like, combine them.
He's got at least 3 majors. He has last year's Masters, he has
Yeah.
this year's PGA, and he has this year's US Open in the bag if he has Jonas Blixt putter. Hell,
Can you believe you just said that?
no. Also,
Jonas
if you
Blake.
rewind 7 years ago when Will Zalatoris was, like, still on breast milk, then I also wouldn't have believed that I would have said you could combine Jonas Blixt with whoever else. It's unbelievable.
Oh, goodness.
Um, all right, let's talk about our favorite bets, our favorite outright numbers, the early values we think you should get on. Some top 20 bets, maybe give some names we haven't named yet for outrights, and prize picks plays as well. So let's get into that. Presented to you by our friends at covers.com. Winning starts and covers. Check it out. Exclusive article on Tuesdays. Everything's free. Quick read. Get it. Covers.com. All right, Pat, who are your favorite outrights? Like, who are the guys right now you know you're going to have some conviction on? They're probably going to end up on your betting card. People need to get on it right now. Just give me a handful of those.
All right, here you go. I'll start with CH3. I like Charles Howell at 33 to 1. He is one of my favorite plays. And then right next to him, Adam Long at 35 to 1. Those are two guys on the shorter end where I think I'm gonna pound some bets on. So I like those two guys there. I like Kevin Streelman at 65 to 1. I'm a big fan of that bet. You know, he's a wily veteran on tour. We've seen guys like Steve Stricker win this tournament at all different ages, it seems like. So Kevin Streelman at 65 to 1 is another one of my favorite bets. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Gonna go ahead and do it. Hank Lebioda, 80 to 1. I'm gonna take that as another outright bet that I really like this week. So those are my top four.
Okay. I think I actually forgot to name this guy in this range, but I talked about him on the First Look show. He was a much better value, but at 35 to 1, you could still get a little bit of Patrick Rogers on
Mm-hmm.
DraftKings, and I'd be okay with it. Great putter, really, plenty of distance, good record at the John Deere. I think Patrick Rogers is in play at around 35 to 1. And then JT Poston at 55 to 1 on DraftKings. Love that. Lonto Griffin at 66 to 1 on MGM is the best play for me. Good long-term putter, short-term putter, good ball striker. Love Lonto Griffin. And finally, in the triple digit range, I'll go Lee Hodges at 150 to 1. I mean, I know we just spent a lot of time on Jonas Blixt, but Lee Hodges at 150 to 1 to me feels like one of these young guys that's been in the hunt, been in the heat of a late Sunday afternoon, and hasn't quite closed the door, but I think he could. So Lee Hodges at 150 to 1 on DK is one of my favorites. What about top 20s, Pat? Who you got?
Top 20 is a few in here that I really like. I like Adam Schenk at plus 240 as a top 20. I think that's a good number for him. Moving down a little bit, I like Mark Hubbard at plus 270. Mark Hubbard's a guy that really needs some points to try and secure his card for next year. So I think that it's a good course fit for him as well. So plus 270, I like Mark Hubbard. A couple other guys that I think in a little bit longer range here. I like Hayden Buckley, who I mentioned as an outright. If you don't want to take him outright, I think plus 400 as a top 20 is good as well. And then one more I'll give you. I'll go with Kramer Hickok,
Ugh,
actually, plus 550.
ugh,
I like that number as a top 20 for him. So there you go.
ugh. Well, we just spent a lot of time on Jonas Blixt. Jonas Blixt is 16 to 1 to top
Yeah,
20.
you got to if you're yeah.
He's 16 to 1 to top 20. I'll go that. I like Chase Seifert and my boy Lee Hodges, who I just mentioned. Seifert, I didn't mention as an outright, but 4 to 1 for Seifert as a top 20. I like ball striker. He's like 160 something in the FedEx Cup. Needs some points. I like that. Lee Hodges, I just talked about 4 to 1. Here's a name I didn't mention. This is definitely a golf course for Martin Laird. He's 3 to 1 to top 20. Played well
Yes.
last week at the TPC River Highlands golf course. I think this is a good spot for Martin Laird at 3 to 1. Poston, who I mentioned, is at plus 260. Two guys who I think are not great outright bets because I don't know that we talked about Nick Hardy earlier in the show, But top 20 Nick Hardy at plus 210, and then top 20 John Huh at plus 220. John Huh's playing really good right now.
Yeah.
Decent record at the John Deere. I don't know that John Huh's gonna win either. It feels a little uneasy, kind of like Nick Hardy, like hasn't really been through it in a long time, if ever. But to top 20, I think I'm probably okay with it. And Rogers at plus 170 to me is good value there. So those are the top 20s that I'm digging. Presented to you by our friends at covers.com, where winning starts. All right, Pat. We can wrap it up with this. PrizePicks, they don't have a lot out right now. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Not a lot of options right now, but I did notice they do have Live Tour options, so you can go check out the
Yeah.
Live Tour
It just
line.
says golf.
It just says
Doesn't
golf.
say PGA. It says
Yeah,
golf.
yeah. For the PGA, they do have birdies are better, which I gotta say I'm a little hesitant on because if you look at, we haven't talked about weather, but if you look at the weather right now, Thursday looks to be quite windy, like sustained winds, like 15 to 18 miles an hour, and gusts in the 20s, which could be interesting. Now, this is still a birdie fest. This is going to be a birdie fest. You know, the golf course is just set up that way. I think 9 out of the last 13 or 15 years has been 20 under or better. So it's going to be a birdie fest, but
I
the over
like
are
what I'm seeing
yeah.
right now on the birdie numbers to hammer a couple of the overs. So
They're all 3.5 right now. All the
they're
numbers.
all of them are 3.5.
What do you
I'll
like?
give you one because I'll have a few more probably on the FGS.
Yep.
But JT posted over 3.5 birdies. I just think he's one of the class players in this field. The way he's playing right now, off of what we saw last week, where he made a lot of birdies. So I think over 3.5 for him day one. I'm gonna take that and some plays.
All right. I'll give you two. I mean, I think we just go with the guys. I think we just go with some of these guys up top. I think Charles Howell at 3.5. I mean, they're all 3.5, but I think Charles Howell playing as good as he is, good history here, played good last week, like that. And I like Adam Hadwin, both at 3.5. So I'll take the over on both of those.
Yeah, I would get in on those numbers right now, regardless of what you think the weather's going to do, because I think they're going to bump up some of those 3.5s to 4.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. Good stuff. That is the betting show presented to you by our friends at Covers. Thanks for checking it out. It is the John Deere, which is like a glorified Corn Ferry Tour event. But go ahead and hit the thumbs up button if you don't mind. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're listening on podcast, 5-star review helps us out. And share the link. Like we said, share it with your daddy. Give it to your daddy. Okay? He needs this in his life. And hey, let's have a great week. One of us is going to be doing Edward 40 hands here pretty soon because we had a bet. We spun the wheel in the last show.
Yeah.
So if you didn't check out the DraftKings show, go check it out. All right, Pat, let's have a great week. Bend over your bookie. See ya.
Oh!